afternoon, everyone, and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. Tonight we've got a great show. We've got Tim Goolsby joining us and Ben Whiting. We're going to talk about the No One Fights Alone Nationals that just took place just a few weeks back at Gainesville Raceway. And we're going to also discuss what might come up with this event this coming year. That's right, it's coming back, the second annual. But first, we want to get to some commercials and pay our bills. So as soon as those are done, we'll be ready to join you.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida and David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
60 years of innovation, 60 years of attention to detail, 60 years of rigorous testing under race conditions is what makes ATI Performance Products great. ATI has been helping racers like you reach the finish line first. Today, we manufacture a wide range of high-performance parts that are tested and race-proven. We're passionate about performance, and that passion is what drives you to the finish line first. See everything ATI has to offer at ATIRacing.com.
Hey, how's it going, Tim and Ben? Thank you for joining us tonight out of y'all's busy schedule to talk about the No One Fights Alone Nationals.
Good, man. We're glad to be here.
First of all, I'm going to give y'all some time to introduce yourselves.
Ben Whiting.
Tell us about yourself. Come on, bro.
He said introduce. I don't know what to say. This was a brainchild, so and it come to be.
That's it. All right, well, I'll go ahead and introduce you for him. It's Ben Whiting. He's about 3.5 foot tall. Weighs about 68 pounds.
I'm sitting on some blocks
Sitting on some blocks right now. But yeah, no, he's been a racer for a long time and good hard to do. A lot of people will know him, and people that don't know him, hopefully they get to know him here soon. But I'm Tim Goolsby. Probably most people at Gainesville know who I am. So glad to be a part of this.
Well, Ben, can you give us some information how this all came about and how you came up with the slogan for the race?
All my life, I've been a fan of St. Jude's. I mean, it's just from a kid watching the commercials and all of that. And then October 3rd, 2014, my stepson was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. It was a tumor in his chest. And one of the big cancer slogans is "No one fights alone." So that's where the name comes from. But during this whole deal, St. Jude's picked up his protocol. We went through an experimental chemo that St. Jude's had developed. Done everything at Shands in Gainesville, which part of the reason the loyalty to Gainesville. And they paid $2.16 million in hospital bills for me, so that's where all of this come to be. After he was cleared, I said my goal all in life was to have a race, and I'm going to do a race. It's just going to be for a different cause.
Right, and after the payouts of the classes, all the money that was left over was sent to St. Jude.
Yes.
I tell you what a wonderful way to support them after you have went through that whole experience yourself with your child. And I know a lot of people, they don't know what that's like. It's a terrifying experience for a family that has to go through that.
It is. A lot of great people. Some of the greatest people I've met in my life was at those hospitals and Ronald McDonald House, Give Kids the World. Make-A-Wish, all of the people that were involved. That's just some of the greatest people you'll ever meet.
Well, at this year's event, the first race of the No One Fights Alone Nationals, how many participants did y'all have total on the property?
292 Saturday, first round.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of cars on the property, and I was there as well, and it was some pretty late days on Friday and Saturday. But things like that happens out on the track. You're going to have some oil downs here and there. It's just part of it. We deal with it even when we bracket race. Regular bracket races out at Gainesville. Are you hearing a lot of noise that it's very possible next year that number can actually increase?
I'm not going to be happy until it's the biggest and best one in the country.
Well, I'll tell you one good thing about Gainesville Raceway. We got plenty of room. Yes, some people might have to park out in the grass, but there's a lot of room. We could have probably fit another 292 cars in there.
For sure, yeah. We definitely we got the real estate to put on the biggest bracket race, to be honest with you. The facility's amazing. A lot of people are always a little hesitant about Gainesville because they're like, no big buck bracket races go there. And I think that's one of the obstacles that we faced is nobody had really put a race on like this except for Rob for the New Year's Nationals, which he was only there for a short time. But I really believe that what you've seen at Gainesville here at the No One Fights Alone Nationals is just the beginning of big money bracket racing at Gainesville, because Gainesville got those cars down the track super quick, super responsive, super fast, and they did exactly what you see all these other tracks do. So I got to give it up to Gainesville crew, and so does Ben, because those guys worked their tail off.
Yeah, that crew was just phenomenal.
Yeah, they were really quick, even when there were bad oil downs. They moved along pretty swiftly of trying to get that mess cleaned up so we could continue racing throughout both Friday and Saturday. Would y'all like to go a little bit into the sponsors of the event?
Where you want to start? We had so many great sponsors. I mean, First Coast Electric was the title sponsor. FB Trailers, Brian Jones, his dad, Barry, they were the box sponsor for both days. We had Jeff at Mako of Gainesville do one of the no box classes, and then McCarty Auto Parts out of Georgia done the Friday no box. Rollins Automotive sponsored the Test and Tune. We had Spartan Towing car show. G&D Hydro Dip, Gary dipped all of the valve covers and give us some good looking parts. He does a fantastic job. We had Billy Highhouse at Highhouse Performance. They were the sponsor of the Quick 8 Dragster. S&M Automotive out of Williston was the Quick 8 door car sponsor. ATI Performance, can't leave them out. They were the Junior Dragster sponsor and the live stream sponsor. And then we had Avi Hutto Golf Carts, Ken Grant Snap-On, Newsom Septic, Chad Kennedy with A&A Tools, Bear Archery. They donated those two beautiful bows. Keith Collins Automotive donated some stuff. Mickey Thompson, Scorpion Performance, Platinum Products, and probably many I'm forgetting that was part of the raffle ticket. And the two that hit near and dear to me was Cone, Team Cone. They're the one that supplied all the adult beverages and are ready to come on board and do something really good. Helped us out very big financially with our St. Jude's donation. And then lastly, Tim here with GRE, all of the signs, the banners, the late night, the leave me alone, I need to sleep. Stop talking about this race 24/7. But
it hasn't stopped either.
Yeah, no, we were supposed to take off to the beginning of the year, but that didn't happen. We're already trying to do next year's race, and didn't even get the track cleaned up good yet.
Yeah, I tell you what, one of the things I really liked was, able to buy tickets to have a chance to win one of the door prizes that y'all had there. And that just wasn't for racers. That was for everybody. It didn't matter if you were a car show participant, a fan. It didn't matter. You could go down there and buy those tickets and have a chance of winning some really great prizes. I seen where the Force Camp actually sent you some stuff, some pistons, some rods, and some hero cards.
John Force, O'Reilly's. I'd forgotten about them. O'Reilly's donated some stuff. North Florida RV. Just like I said, I could spend probably all night long rattling off people that helped out. And there's just so many behind the scenes people that were donating silent stuff. Just unbelievable.
So and that was the other thing too is, we had great sponsors. We couldn't have done this race honestly without the sponsors that we had. It takes a lot of money to put on a race, right? But it puts on,
Yes.
It even costs more money to put on a race, honestly, like, at an NHRA home track, because insurance is more, rentals more, things like that. So without our sponsors, there's no way that we could have honestly done it and be able to give back. But I mean, it's pretty awesome. But the coolest part about it, to be honest with you, was Saturday evening, whenever all the dust had settled, people started coming in and getting their payouts. That's when it really set in. You got a guy walking in there and he wins $11,000 and he goes, "No, you keep $2,000."
The junior dragsters, they were the ones that blew my mind most of all. Curtis Pete, and Big Daddy, or Big Papa, Paul Mateer, they donated roughly half of the purse back. And Blake Jones won the 5 to 9, and I think Blake donated more than half back. And this was not Brian putting him up to anything. I seen Blake over there whispering in Brian's ear, and Brian said, "Well, go tell him." And Blake come walking up to me and told me what he wanted to do, and that hits home right there. That's it really goes to show you that the "no one fights alone" is not just a slogan. It takes every one of us to balance bad disease.
It also shows you how a tight knit group drag racers really are. Sometimes we have our differences when we're out there on the track and everything, but when there's something that needs to be done, like a fundraiser for an organization or for a person that races at the track, they become ill. I mean, everybody jumps in and tries to do their best to help that person out. And I tell you, drag racers are a big, happy family of them on their own, Well, when you mention all those sponsors, does it look like all those sponsors will probably come back for the 2023 year?
We're putting a packet together right now to send out to the sponsors to see who wants to come back. Got some pretty big names that are interested in coming on for next year, so we're going to see what comes with those. I'm really excited for next year. If I could do it again next weekend, I'd be doing it again next weekend.
Yeah, he's already got meetings set up next week with a couple of big names. We don't want to really say anything yet until it's in stone, but if everything goes well, I think you're going to be pretty impressed with the sponsor names that you see, along with the people that helped us out this year. Because people that helped us out this year, man, they're, "Hey, whatever you need next year, I'll do it. I'm game." And then what happened was they honestly attracted the big names. The big names started calling Ben, "Hey, man, I want to be a part of this next year. Can we arrange a meeting?" So hopefully we can, and with that being said, if we can do that, I'm going to tell you what, this cat right here is full of so many unique, original ideas for a race. there's probably 4 or 5 things that we had talked about that he had the idea of implementing into this race that we never did because honestly we were just running around crazy, make sure it went well. So when we implement it next year, I mean, it's going to blow some minds. I mean, there's some really cool ideas.
Well, I tell you what, I really enjoyed watching that quick 8, both the dragsters and the door cars. And I tell you what, man, some of those dragsters, man, they were fast with those superchargers hanging off and turbos hanging off the sides of those engines. And I mean,
440 was the fastest you've seen all weekend.
Yeah, it was really amazing to see those cars run that. And I'm looking forward to it next year. I can tell you that. And, you know, I'm a big collector of drag racing memorabilia, and I guarantee you I could probably find some stuff that I would like to donate next year for people to buy door prize tickets for and try to win, to just try to help a little bit extra and create that revenue for St. Jude's.
Yeah, you know, you touched on the quick 8. You know, the quick 8 was something that one of those things that Ben came up with. Is a little bit different. It's going to be tweaked a little bit for next year to make it a little bit smoother, right? Because nobody really told anything.
We decided, or I'm going to say we, because didn't many people want to bite into it. I decided on Friday, about 3 minutes before the drivers' meeting, that we were going to do it. I had already had some trophies made, didn't know I was going to do it. And when we got out there and I started telling Tim and Derek the announcements of how we was going to do this, they're looking at me and like, we're winging this. We're going to make this happen, but it's something different. It was, I enjoyed seeing the crowd come up to watch those guys, and I think the guys enjoyed it. It was the one opportunity to hit the send it button and let them cars go. With not you don't get to do that at a bracket race a lot. There's way too much money on the line. But with the format that we had, you had nothing to lose by being part of it. So
right.
that allowed you to just send it, put on a show. And that was the whole purpose of it altogether. Not about the money, but just put on a show.
Well, I tell you what, you know, I had a great time live streaming it for you. We had some technical difficulties with signal and everything. Of course, Gainesville's kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. But we got great news that is coming up, and that is they're going to be putting a tower. Verizon is about probably a half a mile or a little less from the track shortly after the Gator Nationals is complete. So hopefully that tower will be completed by next year's No One Fights Alone Nationals, and we can actually give everyone a great viewing from their house, and which I've already started working on getting prices for better equipment to have cameras on the track, you know, different multiple angles. So we're going to be working really hard on that to be able to showcase this for people that are out of state. You know, we want to grab those racers' attentions that are all up north and out west to say, you know what, next year I want to go to Gainesville and I want to run in that race. It's a great cause, and it's got great payouts.
Where would you want to be in December but Florida?
Exactly. Which it can't get cold down here. Tell you a funny story. A couple of Gator Nationals back, Bob Taskus III was out there practicing, and after the Gators, and I said, "Man, how do you like this weather?" And it's probably about 40 degrees, and he's from New Jersey. He goes, "I absolutely hate it. It is freezing to the bone here." And I was like, "You're from New Jersey?" He's like, "It is different."
Two different colors.
Yeah. Speaking of that, too, is it goes back to the Gainesville crew. Is if anybody's ever raced in Gainesville, that dew point comes in, and that dew point comes in, and it's like you're swinging. Kudos to that track, because on Friday
and Saturday both, we were 3 degrees from temperature and dew point, and
we actually reached it for the finals.
Yeah,
and the track was good at the finals. So I mean,
it was really really good of Corey jumping on the tractor and going out there and dragging it between those rounds to just ensure that the track surface was good for those racers and keep them in a safe condition.
Well, what we're going to do to celebrate Corey doing such a good job, at the first bracket race, when he's on the tractor, we're going to use confetti to him to drive the tractor through because he's such a big fan of the confetti. So, breaking news tonight. Nobody knows it yet, but we'll confetti Corey in the tractor.
He loves it. Corey thought it was the coolest idea in the world that we had confetti, and we went out there Tuesday of this week,
and he was raving about it.
The first thing he said to us was, "I love your confetti." But no, that's not what he said. He goes, "Use confetti again on my track, and I'm gonna whip your tail." He said he's still picking pieces up. So we're gonna make sure the confetti's even bigger next year.
Well, I'll definitely, even at the first bracket race, I'll bring in a couple of bags full of shredded paper, and we'll have a great old time.
Oh, it looks like Corey just commented here, and so did Renee, because they know that what's going on there. So I was curious if he was going to be watching.
Corey said he wants more confetti.
Yeah, I tell you what, he has done a wonderful job out there at the track, and he is a great asset to that team, by no doubt. Yeah, getting some comments coming in here. First of all, before we get any further, I'd like to talk about some of the race winners that we had on Friday night. This gentleman hasn't been to the track in a while, but it seemed like he hasn't even lost his spark. Brett Veneman done a great job in no box on Friday night and was able to pick up the win. And then over in box, we had Steve Widrow picking up that win as well. And I'll tell you, man, that's a nice looking dragster that he has there. Just a beautiful dragster.
That is, and we were watching one of the races yesterday, and he was going deep in that race. I mean, that Joker, he's a savage, man. When you're on fire, you're on fire in that dragster. And the coolest thing is, Brett Veneman. He's a Gainesville local. He's a Gainesville hero. He's been out there racing for years, the same car. And haven't seen it in a while. The next thing you know, we see that thing pop up, and you better watch out. It might be a street car. He might have drove there, but he might put you on the trailer. It was pretty neat to see a hometown local pick up the win, especially one that hasn't been out there and active lately. So it really gives people that suck like me hope.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we have missed him over there in the sportsman class here the past couple of years, and hopefully with that win right there, maybe that'll give him a spark of interest and start coming back out and racing with us this coming season. Now on Saturday, the junior dragsters actually got to take part in the event. And first of all, we want to start off with Blake Jones, which he was the winner of the 6 through 9-year-olds. So big congratulations to him. And then our next winner was Tanner Mockney. He was the winner of the 10 to 12-year-old class.
Blake Jones is just sitting on fire.
Yeah,
as young as he is in the sport.
I think he won about 13 races this year.
If anybody has watched the racing at Gainesville Raceway this year and can walk down the lanes and tell you what a certain person's going to dial, it's this cat right here. And Blake Jones has really, really been doing really good. A kid that's so young, getting involved with it. Obviously, he's got a really good mentor. His dad and his grandfather, they're really good at what they do, and he's learning. He's picking up really good. Mockney, man, check that kid out. He's setting on fire at almost every racetrack he goes to. There's a winter circle picture at Braden. He's not in it. Something's wrong. The kid's sick. He's at home. But he's setting them on fire too. And both of his parents are amazing racers. It's pretty cool to see these kids and juniors grow up and go through these phases and become just amazing competitors like their parents.
And we need those kids in our sport, and we need them to stay. We need them to graduate up to, run a box, no box, and keep our sport alive. You know, hopefully, they're the driving force for years to come. That we have tracks to go to and race at, and then we don't want to leave out Curtis Peak. He was the winner of the 13 and 7-year-olds.
Yep. Him and then Paul Mateer, runner up. I mean, both those kids are amazing.
What you brought up earlier, the we're super competitive, but we're really a family out there, and those guys wanted to get their pictures made together. It wasn't we just run in the final. It was those guys are their buddies, their family. So it wasn't going to be Curtis getting a winner circle picture. He wanted his buddy in there with him, and that just goes to show you what the racing community really is.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of months back, me and Daniel Salyers, we went to the final and had to face each other, and I enjoy doing the same thing. If I run her up, I like to, get a picture of the winner and get it hung up on the wall, because I'm just as happy for him as I am for me for making that far. And I tell you, there's some really tough racers out of Gainesville. It is always very competitive. It doesn't matter if you're running in sportsmen, your juniors, pro or super pro. You better bring your A game, because if you don't, you're going to go home early. Also, we want to mention the no box winner is another hometown favorite there at Gainesville, is Jason Rollins.
Yep, that was really neat. It's been a while since he threw one in the winner circle. He was pretty excited about it. The cat that he was probably one of the first 3 sponsors of the race. I think we talked to one of the first 4. And to see him turn on some win lights was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Jason's always a tough competitor. And of course, last but not least, we want to talk about the box winner, which was Gary Williams.
G-Dub. That thing is in that car, there's a beast. That thing leaves, and it's all over the place. And that cat is working his tail off to get it to go down the track. And he does a really good job. He really does.
And he gets it to go the same thing every pass.
The car owner, Scott Rod, that dude right there is class act, man. That dude is such a nice dude. I've been able to spend, a little bit of time with him over the last couple of years and chit chat and hang out at races. He came by the shop and we hung out. He's a really good dude. A lot of people don't, they say, "Oh, G-Dub's driving that blue car. Who's that?" And Scott Rod, he's an awesome dude.
Well, with next year coming up, if someone's out there and they want to be a sponsor, how do they get a hold of you?
They can message me through JMA Promotions. My phone number's on the Facebook site, up and under the JMA page. So, however.
Yeah, I'd like to see some other sponsors come on with the great sponsors that y'all had this past year. Again, you're absolutely right, Tim. These races just don't put on themselves. It takes a lot of work, and y'all too. I know y'all worked y'all's rear ends off getting things ready.
Speaking of working, I just got a message, and I got to give a shout out. Did y'all see Savannah High House finally got a burnout this weekend? The girl's been trying for years to get her junior to do a burnout. And I got to give her a shout out. She got her burnout done.
She's going to kill you. You know that, right? She is going to kill you.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the car show. And how much is the entry fee for that? And is that entry fee going to be the same for next year?
It's $35. And it'll be the same next year.
What are the awards that y'all have?
It's a Fans Choice Award. It's just it's a show and shine car show, but it's a Fans Choice award, and the only fans that gets to pick is the kids that come through the gate. honestly don't care what the adults think about it. This is for kids, so it's and I had a bunch of kids come by, gathered them up. We walked down there this year and looked at it, and everybody loved the 4-wheel drive truck. Love Brandon, the guy that drives the 4-wheel drive truck. So Brandon won it this year, and but that'll be the same thing we do next year is have the kids vote on what their favorite car is.
Well, I'll tell you what I've got for you, and I will get them to you as soon as possible. I have voter cards for kids, and I've got stickers for them to go on their shirts when they go judge. And they're like Kids' Choice type of a card, and they put down the number of the card that they like the most. And I would like to hand those over to you and the stickers, and so you can use them next year. I think the kids would like that as well.
See if we can steal some voting stickers. See if my grandma can steal some from the polls.
Yeah.
All the kids running around with voting stickers on there.
Hey, we just got to make sure they don't get on the track with those, or Corey will have our hinds.
Yeah, it'll be okay. They'll stick to the bottom of his foot.
That'll hold the confetti down.
Also, one of the cool things is, and I hope I don't embarrass him about this, is Brandon's a friend of ours. We actually went to go see him earlier. But and he won, which is really neat. Is he's 27 years old, and he's got Down syndrome, and he races the mud truck. And similar to bracket racing, okay, it's all about time. They get a couple shots, and whoever's closest within thousands wins. And the kid is amazing.
He's deadly.
He's deadly. They got a TMC carburetor on that thing, and they run the top-notch stuff. His dad used to drag race back in the day, and the kid is pretty awesome. So when I saw that he won, I was like, dude, that right there is awesome. You can tell that kids picked the winner just because of what it was. It wasn't a 55 Bel Air, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cool and different.
Well, I mean, if y'all would like to do some extra awards, I mean, On the Spot Motorsports Media would love to jump in and help y'all out with that as well. If that'll help, draw more people to come out, we'll be willing to help you.
Yeah, definitely. And also, forget about the quick 8 winners. It was John Siegel's car in the dragster, but Cameron Frederickson was driving it. Super fast car, super beautiful car. Coolest thing is the comment that was being made. Ben asked me about it afterwards. He goes, I heard those guys saying that this $100,000 car, they traded it for $500. He goes, what does that mean? I go, well, the car was for sale for $130,000, but he decided to bow out of it and keep racing it. And he won the quick 8 and he won $500. I mean, that right there tells you how awesome the sport is. He loves what he does.
Now, I also want to mention with some of the racers that were there, we had some guys that won championships, I think, in the sportsman category, 1 or 2. That was their racing. I think one of them was a top dragster driver that won a championship.
The drag champ bracket racing rating, I think that's how it's called. We had 8 of the top 10 at this year's race, and that's pretty impressive in itself.
Well, I tell you what, I hope it continues to grow. I want to jump on here to go to some comments real quick and see if we got Chad Kennedy here. He says extra confetti next year. He's all for it. He's ready to go.
Jeremy Hancock. How reason you say that, man? You and Jeremy Hancock's tight. Boy, I know you, Chad. Don't try me.
Thomas Gaines says he'll donate some also next year.
So everybody loves Corey. I mean, everybody wants to celebrate Corey for doing such a great job.
Renee says she's down for additional confetti.
You got to make sure it's not biodegradable because, we're in drag racing sport where we killing the air, killing the atmosphere. Might as well just kill the ground. Do not get biodegradable confetti.
And Phil Green is right, man. We got some dangerous kids coming up from the juniors that will actually, getting behind the wheel and competing with us. And, we're getting older, so we got to start practicing hard on that tree, or they're going to leave us sitting there.
That's the truth. Corey says he's going to put his 2 weeks in now.
Don't do it, Corey. We need you, buddy. We need you. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to next year.
Just remember, it's really easy to put on a race, and it's really easy to prep a track for you.
He's going to kill you, Tim. But I tell you what, it's been great having y'all on tonight and talk about this event. And, you know, I think as the years go on with this being at Gainesville, it's going to continue to grow. Like you said, where else are you going to race, you know, in late November, early December, and still have the opportunity to race, because most tracks are already shut down because they're getting snow up north. But here in Florida, we're lucky to be able to race all year round. You know, that's the one great thing about being in Florida.
We had one cat drove straight through from New Jersey. We had Matt Daddis there. We had Jeremy Hancock from the Atlanta area. Had quite a few people from Carolinas.
Had some gentlemen from Wisconsin. Had a couple Canadians.
Yep,
come down.
Canadians. Yep. And it wasn't Jake Hodge this time. It was somebody else.
Good show. I'm very happy. Million little issues, but those are easily fixed. I'm really happy.
Yeah. Also, you know, with that mentioning, I want to talk about something real quick. You know, with tracks closing down, and we got some viewers on here, and I want them to have the opportunity to go to Garrett Mitchell's page, and you can click on a link and you can sign to try to help save both the drag strip down there and also Garrett's place that he has bought, because they're trying to build, I think, 4,000 new homes up there around that track. And they're talking about putting up a berm or a wall. And he was explaining to the city council there that, you know, that's not going to stop the noise of the cars. And we've seen it plenty of times where neighborhoods start moving in on tracks and we lose those tracks. And, you know, we lost Atlanta for that reason. And Houston's closing. And I think this will be the last year out there at Phoenix after that event. Well, wait, I might be wrong. I'll have to double check. But, you know, we haven't too many tracks close up and not have the opportunity to go to those. And the thing they don't understand, people, they're still going to race eventually. And you know where they're going to end up racing at. They're going to end up racing on the street and create a dangerous situation.
I was at Shuffletown in Charlotte, North Carolina when it got shut down. And they interviewed me. I was 16 years old, and the guy asked me, he says, well, what's your plans for racing? And I was just blunt with him. I said, well, if I don't get to race here on Sunday, I'm going to race out on Wilkerson Boulevard. And he looked at me with this just funny look on his face, and I said, shutting a racetrack down is not going to stop the racing.
No,
it
will not.
Racing's been going on as long as there's been automobiles. Getting rid of gas automobiles is not going to change it. I mean, it's going to happen. Racetracks produce a safe, healthy place for people to go and enjoy it. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm glad my dad got me into drag racing at such a young age. It kept me from being an even dumber teenager than I was. It kept me out of a lot of trouble because I couldn't afford to do some of the dumb stuff and go racing on the weekends. And unfortunately, the people that's making these decisions and building these houses, they don't see the passion and the love that racers truly have, and these facilities have. What they've done down in Bradenton this off season to provide the racers with a phenomenal facility is unbelievable, and it brings revenue to that town. Go down there in 2 weeks when there's going to be 750 rigs going through town. the Walmart in town's not going to be complaining about there being a race.
Exactly. And that's the things that they need to look at is they need to look at that revenue that's coming in, and I mean, we got several big events that are going to be put on down there in Bradenton. One of those is the Outlaw Nationals that Drag Illustrated is doing with Wes Buck. I think it's $51,000 to win for the Pro Mob winner, and the Mountain Motor Pro Stock, I think it's $25,000 to win. And it's going to bring a lot of people down there to watch that. And of course, people that's got plans of going to the Gator Nationals, they're going to say, you know what? Let's leave a week or so earlier and let's go on down there to Florida and let's go down to Bradenton and catch that race. And then we can come up and catch the other race at Gainesville Raceway, the Gator Nationals. And all that money, that's revenue for not just those towns, but for the state of Florida as a whole. It's a big business type of thing. How much money are you going to get as far as impact fees on those houses compared of millions of people over a year coming into your town and getting motel rooms and spending money for food and supplying jobs for those people in those fast food places and in hotels. If you take away the track, like Commerce, I talked to a lady. I says, this at the hotel. I said, it's a plumb shame that this track is closing. She goes, what? She didn't even know that the track was closing. I said, oh yeah, they're closing the track. It's going to be gone. There's only like 2 events left. I think the last one was the Night of Fire there, and I was explaining to her, and she goes, oh my goodness, it's going to kill us. We're going to probably have to close hotels. And then you got people without jobs.
Yep, trickle down effect. Also, we got the new date for next year, November 30th through December 1st. People, go ahead and start marking out your calendars. Let's get this thing done. We'll open up pre-register like we did last year. We'll start posting things throughout the year for what's going on new for this coming up year. Quick too, Ben didn't touch on it, but I wanted to tell you is JMA Promotions is his kid's initials, Joseph Michael Anderson, and the date has a meaning. The date of this race has a meaning.
This race will always be December the 1st. If we have to run it over to Monday or start it on Tuesday, that is the day that Joseph was taken out of cancer protocol, cleared of cancer. So it might be early parking day is on or late parking day. We're going to come up with an excuse to make December the 1st be part of it.
I think that is awesome. I really do.
Real quick, I got to give a shout out to a couple of people. It's just I forgot it earlier going. Matt Milano. That guy was rock solid. All of the shirts come from Matt. The insights that he gives, the people the man knows. Just got to say thank you to him so much. And my wife. Unsung hero. She stepped in, probably been to 10 drag races in her life. I told her she was in charge of registration, and she says, what is that? Here you go, baby, and we're leaving. And she took it and done absolute best job she could do with it. I just thank you so much. I can't say thank you enough to her. And she's letting me do this stuff. I didn't work the last 4 months of the year trying to put this race on, so thank you for letting me do it.
I tell you what, I want to hit along with some comments before we close out. Got some thumbs up there.
Mike. Thumbs up from Mike Crook.
Yep.
The rating just went down because of Mike Crook hopped on here. It's okay. Mike Crook does an amazing job what he does. I'd love to have him come up next year and help us out with this event.
Yeah, he acted like he had to work this year, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Renee did an amazing job this year, too.
Renee, yes. Can't say thank you enough to her.
Yeah, and I tell you, if I can get a couple of people to come help me, with the live stream next year, I will also try to race as well. It's just really hard to try to keep it all going by myself. On the brackets, it's not so critical, because I want to actually give, 352 y'all a great product. And again, I apologize for some of the issues that we were having with signal and everything, and hopefully we can get over that this coming year.
That's it. Hey, everything's got a struggle. It's just how you use it to improve the next time. So just like life, but just like this race, we had a lot of little tiny issues, and we're going to address it. We're going to change it a little bit. We're going to mold it into a better event for next year. You can do the same with your live streaming. We really hope that we hope this event kicks off for your live stream. We hope this event kicks off for this event itself. We also hope this event really just takes control of Gainesville Raceway as the place to be.
It really is. And I love Gainesville Raceway so much because I'm there in 20 minutes.
Well, and we spoke about this to begin with, but I want to let everybody know. Many people donated part of their winnings back. Many people didn't even come collect their winnings. We sent a check for a little bit over $18,000 to St. Jude's, and
that's awesome.
I'm very proud of that. It's
yeah, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people would say, "Hey, how much?" And I'm like,
I was waiting to say it tonight, but we sent out just a little bit over $18,000, and I want to increase it every year. I owe them $2.16 million, and I'm ready to pay it forward for another kid. So my plan is to do this, and as long as I possibly can.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think one of the coolest things that y'all did was get all the racers up there in the grandstands and take a picture to send that picture to St. Jude's. I think that was really great.
The big old family reunion picture where half of them can't stand the other half, but when you're not in the lanes, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate y'all and thank y'all for coming on tonight. And I can't wait to next year. And we'll bring you on from time to time and keep everyone updated where we're at.
Perfect. That'll work. Yeah, we'll appreciate you having us. And we're going to go inside and see what Ben's going to cook us for dinner.
Oh, man. I might have to run over there. What you cooking, Ben? Well, y'all take care and have a great evening.
You too.
Right. Yes, sir, you too.
Later.
See you.
All right, there goes Ben and Tim. I tell you what a great event they put on at Gainesville, and I just can't wait to next year. My hat goes off again to the Gainesville track crew for doing a great job of prepping the track. Chad Kennedy and Jody Kennedy for all their hard work. I wish I had everybody's name in front of me so I could thank them all. And of course, our safety crew that's there, always willing to rush in when something dangerous happens on the track to keep us safe. And thanks a lot. We probably won't have another podcast until after the first of the year. We want everybody to be able to relax and enjoy their Christmas holidays and time with family. And then we'll get back right after the first of the year and start bringing some guests on and having a great time. So until then, we will see you next year.